Hi folks, Slavik Boyechko here with Tuts Plus, and in this lesson we're going to learn all about the magnetic timeline where we are editing our project. So what do we mean by magnetic timeline? Well, let's just see how that works. I'm going to delete all of these clips that I've already put into the project and add some new clips here. So I'm going to drag that over here, and notice that this middle section here is a little different color. This is called the primary storyline, and this is what's magnetic. So I'm going to drag that over here. And maybe one more clip. Now if I want to adjust the duration of a particular clip, let's say I feel like this one's a little bit too long, I can move my mouse to the end of the clip and it becomes a trim tool, and I'll just make it a little bit smaller here. Well, you notice that the rest of the project follows magnetically right after. Let's try that again. Okay, I'm going to move my mouse to the very end of the clip and it becomes a trim tool. And I'm going to trim it so that that's a little bit shorter. I'm going to trim the start of that and make that a little bit longer on this end. If we make our preview window bigger, you might be able to tell a little bit easier on where we're editing. Okay. So I want to make this so that the clip starts right before the taxi cab arrives in the shot. So right about right here is good. And let's say I want this clip, which is really long, to start a little bit later. So I'm going to trim over here this way. And notice everything follows from the beginning of the project, from the beginning of the timeline. And the major difference is, in other editing programs, that's just not the case. Usually video editing programs don't have one primary storyline. There's usually multiple video and audio tracks. And the best way for me to explain it is just to show you how we might edit a similar scene in Adobe Premiere. So here I am in Premiere, and if I wanted to edit the end of a clip and trim it down a little bit, you'll notice that the rest of the video clips and audio are left free floating, and so that if I don't want this blank spot here in the center, I have to select everything and move that over. And when you get into a video project that is complex or long or has a lot of various pieces, sometimes it can be redundant to continue to select everything past a certain clip and move it to the end of another clip. And that's where Final Cut comes in. Again, we're trimming here and everything follows along. When we add clips below or above in something like Premiere, they float on their own. Whereas with Final Cut, all clips are attached to the primary storyline like branches on a tree. And I'll show you how that works. So for example, I wanted to add a music track to the beginning of this clip. I can drag it below our primary storyline, and it's attached. Right here you can see that there's a little line that means that it's attached to this clip. Now if I move this video clip to somewhere else in the project, the audio portion follows it. So let's say we purposely want a gap in the project and we don't want the clips to magnetically move over. Then what we can do is add a particular gap. Let's say we select this area here where we want a gap in the project. We can go into Edit, Insert Generator, select Gap. So now we can adjust the size of the gap too. An easier way to do that is just to remember the keyboard shortcut, Option W. So over here, let's add a gap. There, Option W. Now if we attached video clips above the primary storyline, It's kind of like a hierarchy. Whatever is at the very top of the video is what is played back in our project. And notice how both of these are attached to this video clip in the primary storyline. Let's zoom out a little bit. If we want to change where a particular clip is attached, we can always drag it, and we'll see that it's associated with a different clip now. So this audio track is now associated with this clip, and if we want to move that, the audio track will follow along. And if we want to move this video clip, the clips above that are attached are going to follow along too. Now, if we've done all of the hard work of favoriting our video clips and creating a palette to work with, the magnetic timeline can make editing super fast, easy, and creative. We can go along and just start dragging clips into the project and very quickly create a sequence. So that in a nutshell is the magnetic timeline. And in the next lesson, we're going to learn about all of the various tools that we're going to use to edit within that magnetic timeline.